Hello, Stephen Asma.
Hello, Paul Giamatti.
Yes, indeed. Guess where we are right now? Guess where the two of us are?
We are in the Chinwag.
We're in the Chinwag zone. We're in it. We're inhabiting it.
You just arrived into the Chinwag from Scotland. How was your trip to Scotland?
I went to Scotland. I took a little jaunt to jolly old Scotland. Is that what we call it? Merry old England.
But no,
Scotland. Yes. I had some haggis. Which I'm here to tell you is tasty. It's a tasty treat. It's really delicious. And it's not what you think it's going to be. I mean, you hear about it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, what is this going to look like? And it's kind of a sausage. It looks like a Jimmy Dean sausage just sliced up and kind of fried. You remember Jimmy Dean sausage? I mean, it doesn't look like anything, and it's tasty.
It's tasty.
Spicy and tasty.
Best not to think about it too much, though, right? Just eat it.
Best not to, but honestly, best not to think about what's in a hot dog, Steve.
That's true.
Best not to think about what's in your Frank at the ballpark. I mean, you know what I mean? Best not to think about what's in most things we're eating. You know what I mean?
But were you enjoying the other fine things that Scotland can give you?
Is out of sight. I've had a lifelong thing about Scotland. I think I talked to you too about how I talked to an astrocartographer once who said to me, which was an astrological reading I had. And this guy does a thing where he lays things over a map and he says, Scotland's a very important place to you.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. For some reason.
So you're drawn to it.
I think so.
And it's part of your possible prehistory of some kind, maybe.
It is part of my possible prehistory. Let me go so far as to say that I learned that in my genealogy, I am evidently directly descended from Malcolm III, King Malcolm III, known as King Malcolm III, the Big Head. That's what he was called, the Big Head.
Are you making this up?
Meaning, I think, like the big cheese is what they meant, but he was called Malcolm III, the Big Head. I'm serious. Apparently, I'm a direct descendant. How the fuck people know this, but apparently I am. Direct descendant of Malcolm III, who is, by the way, the Malcolm who's in the Shakespeare play Macbeth.
No way, really?
It's the Malcolm in the end of that play who they make king. And evidently, my ancestor, Malcolm III, the Big Head, the head cheese, he himself, in historical fact, may have with his own hand killed King Macbeth.
Holy shit.
And dispatched Macbeth. But evidently, we don't need to get into this now, but in Shakespeare, he's the actual historical Macbeth was apparently a good king. That he wasn't such a bad guy.
Oh, is that right?
Supposedly.
So Malcolm's the bad guy.
Well.
And sins of the father, that blood's on you too,
really?
buddy. You're fucked. You are fucked.
Oh, shit. I better look out. I better make up for his. Well, maybe. But I don't know. Evidently he was but apparently Malcolm III was they called him the Big Head.
He was a mensch.
So, yeah, he was known as the Big Head. So he must have been. Anyway, Steve, I just thought I'd regale you with that fact. You're gripped, aren't you?
Do you have like a family crest now of Malcolm's Big Head or something?
I should, you know what? Maybe I should get one made up. The thing I didn't do over there, and my girlfriend was very disappointed in me, was I didn't get a kilt. And I've wanted a kilt my whole life.
Yeah.
And we went to the high-end kilt place, and I got, that thing happens. You go in this place, I got intimidated. I was like, I'm too afraid to talk to these people about this.
It's like wine. There's like a level up there that you don't even know about. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Well,
that's
know
exactly
about
right.
But most people
no, I don't know much about the tartan thing. And I think it is a whole system, and they create new tartans.
Oh.
There's this place we went to is a place where they will make a new tartan, which is like having your coat of arms made, I think. Oh, it's like you have really official. You take it's a certain stripe like this and a certain background color with this color highlighted and this line, and these lines are a certain distance apart and all that shit. You make an actual, but I didn't have the balls to get it killed because I was like, I'm too fucking embarrassed to talk to these people. I'm going to look like a jackass. And also it's like, it's a whole thing. And I suddenly realized I'm going in there and I'm not being ironic or jokey about it. I really like one, but I don't really, I felt a little bit like, come on, man, this is a real serious thing these guys do. It is like
the house,
wine. It is like me going in and going like, you got like a nice screw top thing I can have just a little.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's a serious part of the culture. And here you don't want to come in like sort of like downgrading it with like a jokey thing or whatever. Yeah, I hear you.
So I didn't ultimately get
when you go back.
killed. When I go back out, maybe I'll have the balls to step up and get a kilt. Maybe I'll finally have the balls to step up and get a kilt. Oh, God, Steve. I had no idea I was going to be talking about all of those very deeply revealing facts.
Well, it's the Chinwag, man.
It sure is, man. Things just pop out of us. Welcome, everybody, to this Chinwag. We have a crazy episode
good
for you today. We are hosting a true legend and a icon of motion pictures.
He is.
This gentleman is a multi-hyphenate, I believe is the term. Am I right? A multi-hyphenate. He's an actor, voice artist, best-selling author, writer, director, producer. The man does it all. And speaking of Scotland, here's a Scottish name for you, Mr. Bruce Campbell.
The one and only Bruce Campbell. Amazing guy.
Accent.
Really fun.
It was really
I don't know. I bought it.
And did you?
Yeah.
I just alienated
I have low standards, though.
Yeah, you're pretty low standards. And I just think we lost Scotland. We just lost Scotland from the Chinwag. But Bruce Campbell, the great Bruce Campbell, is here today. But before we get to that, this is terribly exciting, Steve. We are coming for you, San Francisco.
Yeah, we're going to be taping a live Chinwag at San Francisco Sketch Fest on January 27th at 1 p.m. at Marines Memorial Theater.
Tickets are on sale right now, so go to sfsketchfest.com.
That's sfsketchfest.com for tickets to see us live on January 27th at 1 p.m. in San Francisco.
It's going to be bananas. Bananas. We'll be talking about all kinds of crazy shit, and we'd love to see you there and take all your crazy batshit questions. Come out in force, Chinwaggers. Moving on to important business. We are big fans of this next guest. I am a huge fan of his.
His films are so crazy.
I was thinking the other day, like Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, all those movies, they kind of came out. I was in high school, college, drama school. It was like these they fell at these three kind of significant periods of my life.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Bruce is always there for you, man. He's just there. Through all the life changes.
Well, seriously, though. But I just was like, God bless these things. God bless these movies. I want to be in one of these movies. I've never had the good fortune.
Yeah. Have you guys worked together on
No,
a
we
film?
never. Well, yes. We were in the same program. I produced a program with my colleague, Dan Carey, who's a producer on this, called Lodge 49. And he was in that show.
So good.
We went to him and said, please, will you do this? And he said, yes. And he's fantastic.
Such a good series.
And he's great. So, but I didn't get to act with him. Which I would imagine would just be electric.
Yeah, that would be great.
You know what I mean? Be really exciting.
That would be great.
He is perhaps best known for playing the iconic role of Ash Williams in Sam Raimi's hit horror franchise, The Evil Dead. He is also a prolific author who wrote back-to-back New York Times bestsellers, a memoir entitled If Chins Could Kill, Confessions of a B-Movie Actor, and his first novel,
great title,
Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way. But today we've got him here. We're asking him the hard-hitting questions today. We're going all over the map with him.
We get into some Sasquatch there. He lives in Sasquatch country.
We got into some Sasquatch, some UFO stuff. He lives in Sasquatch country. He lives in UFO country kind of too.
Yes, true.
He will talk to us about ghosts. He will talk to us about a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff about the biz, too. About
a lot of stuff about filmmaking. Yeah. He's a raconteur par excellence.
He is, indeed.
If I may say that.
Yes.
He is an amazing man. Super honored to have him. Please welcome the Chin himself. Very fitting for Chinwag, Mr. Bruce Campbell. Hello, Bruce.
Hi, gang.
Hello, sir. Fantastic.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce.
I was in the neighborhood. I was doing recycling, and I thought, just stop in the office and talk to the guys. Come on.
That's nice. Give the kids a thrill.
Yeah.
You've got a kind of Wolfman Jack shirt on. You've got a kind of awesome.
Yeah, that's badass.
It's a fake pot shirt. It's in some countries I would get arrested. Like in Taiwan, they go, that's too suggestive.
Yeah, you'd be screwed in Singapore.
Is that what the pattern is?
In Ashland, Oregon, I'm invisible. No, it's not a pot plant. It's just an exotic plant.
I got you. Very good. I learned something. I was in Hawaii a few years ago, and I got myself some Hawaiian shirts because I entered that phase of my life, and I was kind of like, I'm going to get some Hawaiian shirts.
May I give you a suggestion about Hawaiian shirts?
Yes,
well,
sir.
I know for a fact having worn 7 seasons of Hawaiian shirts on Burn Notice. Incidentally, I wore Hawaiian shirts before Burn Notice. Everyone goes, hey,
I was going to ask you.
Oh, look, you're wearing those shirts just like your character. I'm like, shut your face. I wore them before. Here's the trick.
Yeah.
Tommy Bahama. This is not a Tommy Bahama because it's a polo style.
It's classy.
The Hawaiian shirt that's worth a damn, the pattern must go across the button undisturbed. The leafy frond can't go doink up here and continue. It has to go
smooth.
Oh, wow. So the whole pattern.
With the pocket. Same with the pocket.
I never
And that's
realized
why
that.
they're $1.25 each.
Okay.
And they have a nice drape. They have a nice drape.
The interesting thing with Hawaiian shirts, I want to say that I didn't realize when I went to get these things is that there are like classic patterns that are like, that go back like generations and stuff. Because I got one that's called the Tony Curtis. And and for some reason it was one, it was one that Tony Curtis popularized, had a lot of pineapples on it. And somebody was like, I'm looking for them with just pineapples or something. And the guy said, well, you want the Tony Curtis.
Yeah, this is Tony Curtis right over here.
But I'm interested in something that you have a fake weed shirt on, which just begs the question for me that I heard somewhere that the first time you acted on film, or was it the first time in your life that you smoked marijuana and acted on film? I mean, I'm going right to the hard-hitting questions, Bruce.
This is for the first Evil Dead. So we're 1979.
Is that 1979?
Wow.
Is that how long ago that was?
When it was filmed, it took 3 years to finish. So it didn't really come out till 82, 83. That's what everyone forgets. They go, okay, 1983, it's the 40-year reunion. I'm like, no, you son of a bitch. It was 1979. So the movie was actually made in the 70s. So we went down to Tennessee, and we knew that the crackers smoke reefer. It's just the way it is. None of it's legal. They'll string you up by your thumbs, but they smoke it like it's going out of style. So we told these local guys, we went a couple things. We went, okay, we need moonshine. Oh, because we know you have it.
Gotta have it.
And we got to get it because we've heard a lot about it, never had it. And you got to get us some reefer. And the local guy was like, okay. Boy, that didn't take long.
Who was this local guy? Was he the caterer? Who was this local guy? Was he just
his name was Gary Holt. And he usually started his sentences this way. Now, here's the deal I worked out. Gary knew everybody in town, in Morristown, Tennessee. And so Gary can work anything out. And so we said, Gary, go get this stuff. He goes, all right. And so we learned about moonshine. You get it, you pour a little into it's in a mason jar. Yeah. Pour it in the lid and you light it on fire.
Really?
And if it's a soft blue flame, no problem.
Is that right?
If it's an orange flame, run for the hills because it's probably been distilled in a car radiator.
Right. Okay.
No shit.
It's got antifreeze or gas.
That's how you tell.
You can also shake it up. You shake it, and if tiny bubbles go to the surface, that's good. Tiny bubbles, no troubles.
What did it taste like? What was the taste?
Like a real grainy thing. You didn't get drunk. You yelled loud. That was it. You got crazy. You didn't feel traditional drunk, but you wanted to shoot guns at things. So we had a shotgun, in the back of the cabin, and we would drink moonshine and blow the shit out of stuff. And after the second time we drank it, we went, guys, we have to make a movie, and this is not working. We're 21, and this is bad. So we used it to energize the fire before a shot in the movie. We threw it right in the fire, and it would roar up, and then we filmed it. It looked beautiful.
Yeah.
So anytime that you see the movie and that fireplace is really cooking, that's courtesy of moonshine.
It's moonshine.
The reefer finally shows up, and it's 79. It wasn't that far away from Easy Rider. We had heard Jack Nicholson won an Academy, nominated for an Academy Award, smoking 47 fucking doobies during it. We went, well, it's kids sitting around, listening to this scary recording, and they pass a joint around as per the script. So, we get it. I was 21. I had never smoked before. And I thought, okay, on camera. Yep. We're going to make film history here.
Cameras are rolling.
Cameras are rolling. Oh, yeah. Pass it around. Bing, bang, boom, boom. And, they say the first time you don't really get stoned.
We were just talking about this.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, bullshit. So I'm sitting there about halfway through. Finally, things go into 6-track stereo. Now, I know that's more of a psychedelic application, but early weed experiences for me were like the sound got...
Oh, really?
The sound went crazy. It became 6-track. The crew was talking, and I was trying desperately to find the difference between Sam Raimi's voice and everybody else's voice. Because he was telling me shit to do for the shot. I was like... He
was talking off camera to you?
In the same room.
Oh,
and it's
right.
not
yeah.
This is not a big room. It's like 6 crew members, guys, walking around. But it became gobbledygook, and I was going, I must discern only Sam Raimi's voice from the noise. And in the early weed days, there were time jump cuts. Like, so I'd be trying to listen to what Sam was saying, and then I'd be focused on the Sony tape recorder, and I'd go, I didn't finish the previous subject, and then another 2 minutes would go past.
Yes,
so
totally.
Now we attempt to act, and the next time jump cut, I'm taking a leak off the front porch of the cabin, and all the crew had gathered off to the side, and all these men were going, Sam, that was a great idea. But, I don't think there's anything useful here. I mean, do you really think there's anything useful? And so those of us who were stoned were like, no, we can power through it.
Absolutely.
No.
and that was so nothing, none of that's in the movie. None of that made it.
No, there's about a 4-second clip of me like readjusting how I'm lying because I started to just slump over chronically in the chorus. And then Sam pulled one final trick. Now we're deeper into the shoot.
Yeah.
Marijuana was still affecting me quite dramatically. So I had a big day of shooting, Ash running around the cabin, crazy shit happening. Great, Bruce, and you're a rat. Great. Woo! Yeah, baby. Watch them shoot a little bit. Hey,
absolutely, filmmaking.
Yeah, man, no strings on me. Sam turns on me. Bruce.
Oh, God.
We never understood what your character felt at this point in the movie. You go out to chop wood, and you're so distraught after a couple of chops. The wood falls off the stump and you don't even care anymore. You're chopping and chopping out of frustration. You finally, in agony, throw the axe through the window and collapse in tears onto the stump. I was like,
that's a big scene.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Okay. And he wanted he's serious. There wasn't a smile.
Yeah, no, this is
on
vital.
His face.
Yeah, crucial.
We forget that Sam is also an actor, and this was his best performance ever.
Right.
Gets me out there, axe in hand. It's like 40 degrees. I'm going, shivering at this point. He goes, all right, now, you don't stand by the stump. You got to come into the stump. Where do you think he'd start? Around the corner? Oh, brilliant. So he's insulting me at the same time. The camera guys are now getting into it. So the camera guy, Tim Fowler, would go,
are they there? Are they filming you? Yeah, they're filming you.
Oh, they filmed it. Yeah, they had to film it.
Yeah, okay.
And action, and then I'd go, and then Tim would go, "Oh, cut! Wait, cut! Sorry." So they did a series of non-starts that was really bad for my performance.
Were they just fucking with you?
Let's fuck with Bruce for like half an hour.
Gotcha.
And so I gave, and the footage, I saw the footage once, massively melodramatic, but I gotta say, there was a part of me that
something
kind of
there.
I thought it was pretty good.
I brought a little something to the party.
That's the scary thing. I think I don't have the balls to do it. I think mostly because my worry is I'll go, hey, I was pretty good. The level of paranoia that I think would kick in if I got high at a film set, which is already, the paranoia of like everything looking at me. And then a film set, and you're like, everybody's fucking looking at you, motherfucker. You got a camera in your face.
Problem is, you have to do the opposite.
Yeah.
You lean into it.
And you go, everybody's looking at me. That's great.
I'm not high. You're all high.
You're all high. It's not me.
You're high.
I've worked with some guys who are legendary kind of daily stoners, great actors, and they have reached this level of that stone face thing where they can just kind of do this.
Well, supposedly,
we're just a little flick of the eyes and stuff like that. We're just
Jack Nicholson was doing like your 5 easy pieces type thing. They'd have these discussions. Hey, before this scene, do you think Jack should smoke hash or pot? Depending on like the emotion they had. It wasn't about whether he's going to smoke or not. Like, what should he do in advance?
Which one should he mix them? Maybe we'll do a little mix here. No, I gotta. I did it once when I was when I was acting on stage once. I was acting with a guy who regularly, he was one of these guys who was just like, I just get high and I can't do it if I'm not high.
Yeah, that's
and so he kept encouraging me because in the second half of this play, I didn't have any lines. I had brain off for the second half of the play, but I had to stand around the background with a spear. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give this a try. So I give it a try and I go out there. And it was completely terrifying. First of all, it's a sea of these faces, but then everybody's doing this. Everybody at the same time, as everybody looks in the same direction at the same time, and everybody laughs at the same time, then everybody turns back and I was like, holy fucking shit, what the hell is going on? It was terrifying. I've never done it again. I couldn't ever do it again.
Going to conventions, all bets are off.
Really?
All bets are off.
Really?
Because
everybody's plowed.
You know what? There's nothing better than a Q&A when you've just burned one in the alley. A Q&A, the bigger the audience, the better.
Really?
I'm giving out money. I'm insulting children. There's just, it really is. That's when the fun begins.
That makes sense to me.
And the audience is like, I thought he was going to be cool, man. Look at this guy.
Because I already know what the questions are. I've heard them all 100 times. Right. So now the challenge is, how do you answer it in a completely different way?
Yeah.
You know? So they ask me, how do you memorize your lines? And I say, fish.
And then they wait.
I do it for my own amusement now. It's not for that.
I want to know about the Bigfoot connection because apparently you live nearby where the Forest Service might have been setting a trap or something.
Okay. I live in Southern Oregon.
Okay.
First place I had out there was out in the boonies. I was surrounded by federal land, and I felt like a land baron because there's a lot of government land there.
Yeah.
Oh.
So my view was the Siskiyou Mountains at night. It was Lord of the Rings. There was no lights on the mountain because there's no permanent homes. The only lights you see are moving. Those are cars, like drug runners coming from California over the mountain, and they're threading their way down.
Sure.
Yeah. And so that supposedly, allegedly, is the Bigfoot territory, Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Forested areas.
It's a big,
There's a little Applegate Lake, which is straddles the border of Southern Oregon and California. And next to Applegate Lake is the Collings Mountain Trail. Very lovely, picturesque. And as you walk around, you go, big trees, big pines. And, very nice. They only cut them about 100 years ago. So they're still coming back pretty big.
Nice.
And it looks Bigfooty. And the locals had said, Bigfoot trap. And I finally was like, okay, stop at this. And I got to know guys over the years because I had federal land around me. I dealt with these guys occasionally.
Yeah.
Some administrators. So some guy from the Forest Service I met, and I go, all right, do me a favor, will you? What's with this Bigfoot thing? Did you build the trap? He goes, yeah, we built the trap.
Really?
I go, wow, really? When? He goes, it was in the 70s. They thought they could get them by developing almost an elevator system where they had a cage and he would presumably step into the cage going, oh, my favorite fruit.
Cage. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Cage fruit.
Yeah, what were they leaving? Were they leaving food in there for them?
That's what I'm thinking. What Forest Service volunteers are going to go, here's your apples and bananas. See if that works today.
Yeah.
That didn't work. Try a pumpkin today. How do you catch Bigfoot? So I go, okay. what happened to it? And he goes, well, they didn't do anything with it. It's still there. I go, it's still there.
Oh, man.
He goes, yeah, It's off of Collings Mountain Trail. So I went, all right, come on. Chomp. It was only about 45 minutes from my house when I lived out there. All right, let's go. Sure enough, up on the side of the hill, I start to see some crude infrastructure, like an old play set or old play thing. So we went up there a little bit. And sure enough, it was a big ass cage. It's about 10 feet tall, this cage.
Yeah.
With a wooden platform and a completely rusted out spring system. So the idea would be, I will connect to the cage. He comes into the cage, the weight shuts the door.
Okay.
It
drops?
The downward mechanism shuts the door.
Yeah, right.
That's how you keep it lubed and operated and tested. And I don't know.
And that's it?
That's it.
It doesn't then like get pulleyed up in the air or something like that?
When the scientists get there, Paul, that's when they pulley it up in the air, man.
You're lucky to catch the son of a bitch, man. Don't be messing with him.
I loved all the like shark-proof tank shit. You remember the shark-proof cage?
Yeah,
they had the shark-proof cage.
It's a shark-proof cage.
Yeah, like in the 70s, it was like shark-proof, and you were just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And you'd see like, I remember there was this great documentary called Blue Water White Death with a fucking like shark. Did you remember Blue Water White Death? It was this great fucking documentary. Yeah. And it was just like, they just shoved their head right through the thing. It was an absurd idea. Was it made out of wood? Was it made out of steel?
It was like a fencing. It was fencing and, aluminum pipes. They made a cage. God.
What's the culture there now? Like,
there's just a bunch of crumbled up beer cans. I mean, guys would party there now.
But what about like you are still like in Bigfoot country. Like, what are your views? Do you think Sasquatch is real or the whole thing is just black bears or something?
Do you know people who've seen Sasquatch?
All right. I was at a bar and this is where a story immediately loses credibility when you start with that.
Yeah, I was at a bar.
And it was in Santa Cruz, California.
That's even more credibility.
No, that's a double whammy because now the guy's drunk and stoned.
And stoned or something, yeah.
Okay, so I was mostly minding my own beeswax. Hey, where you from? Oh, Oregon. Oh, me too. Yeah, you know that Bigfoot stuff? I go, yeah. Well, it's real. I go, is that a fact? Tell me how real it is. He goes, well, you know Mount Ashland, don't you? So the first thing he mentioned was familiar to me. And so I went, okay, he's starting to point out geography.
Yeah, Mount Ashland got a specific.
It's a pretty high point in the Siskiyous. And he was partying with some friends out by the ski resort up there, by Ashland Ski Resort. And he mentioned one other road with a pull off and that it had a dead end at the end of it. And they were partying. So it was two little hints of a geographical location that I went, ski resort, dead end road, Mount Ashland. I went,
you're halfway there.
Maybe he's not completely stoned. So anyway, he was partying. They were in the vehicle and they heard the rustling and he felt that they were harassed by Bigfoot. Because he basically came up and kind of did like the big like thumpity thump on the front of the car, like get the fuck out of here, and like was shaking it and shit. And then like crawled over the top of it and like ran away like fuck you, like jumping on it and shit.
Sure.
Now,
did he smell anything? He didn't talk about a smell because there's a smell.
The musky scent.
Yeah, the musky scent. The skunk ape.
I could smell it coming for yards. You know?
Skunk ape. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. All the ghost hunters will tell you all that. You know,
yes. Yes.
No, he didn't. I think it happened too quickly and too suddenly. I did not have a car to verify the damage to the car. So I could have been just a crock of shit, but he didn't really have to launch into a Bigfoot story either. He could have just gone, hey, we're from Oregon. Cool.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
So whenever I hear that, I kind of go, and when he was telling the story, there was a slightly different attitude in his voice. It wasn't as jokey.
He sounded genuinely like he was freaked out by it.
I'll put it this way, Paul. I would have printed the tape.
You would have printed the tape.
I would have printed the tape.
Oh, interesting. I like that.
Yeah,
that's a good way of...
You know what? That's good. We can move on. Let's move on.
Yeah, I believed that.
I totally believe that. Yeah.
I like that. That's very interesting.
Now, I did see a UFO.
Okay. See, now this is where I was going to... Do you generally believe this kind of thing at all? Are you skeptical?
Paranormal
Are you like paranormal stuff?
I think the senses definitely, I'm a little bit of that you see what you believe as much as you believe what you see. I think you kind of make your own reality. And I actually feel that each of us is in our own very specific reality that's completely different from all the other realities that can intersect.
Yeah.
But it's your reality constantly shape-shifting as your perceptions change of your reality. And I can give you one specific example of that if we get there.
Yeah.
There was an LA traffic jam scenario.
Go for it. No, this is this is actually a kind of thing that Steve and
then we'll get back to the UFO.
Steve and I know, but Steve and I talk about a lot of this kind of shit, like whose reality is real, what's imaginary, what isn't. So
here's, and this is not necessarily a Pollyanna story of kumbaya, everyone, but basically I had a meeting at my agency in Los Angeles at probably 3:00 in the afternoon. I had a flight to catch at, I don't know, 4:30. It was all wrong. I had a car, a rental car to return. And we had a good meeting, but it ran long. We didn't care because it was a good meeting. Bullshit. Get in my car. As soon as I turn onto the street like La Cienega, I'm fucked. I'm cosmically fucked. You've never seen more traffic in your life.
Oh, shit.
Mentally, I'm surrounded by idiots, the LA drivers. I'll never get there. These fucking morons will never let me get there. I got to return a car. I got to check the whole thing. Not a chance. So then I went, well, look, it's too easy to be the pissed off guy because that's everybody here right now. Everyone's kind of pissed off at this whole situation. I said to myself, what if everyone on this freeway was exactly where they needed to be right now? There's no mistakes. Mr. Truck Driver's right there, right where he needs to be. Guy breaking down over here, everything, the asshole cutting in. They're all here. They're all exactly where they need to be. And not a single individual is out of place or out of control or out of the same mindset. What if we were of exactly the same mindset? What if that was the reality?
That you're all participating in this, and
this is all
it's
together.
A ballet. You're all kind of participating.
This is a fantastic mosaic. Don't worry about it. Don't try and explain it. Don't fight it. Don't fight it because it was all about fighting. I had nothing but fight ahead of me.
Yes, of course.
So I'm like, what if it's a flow, not a fight? And so within no discernible amount of time, the traffic never stopped. It was slow. Never, ever, ever once stopped. All the flows, all the ins and the outs. Took the exit to the rental car, pulled in, dropped the thing. As the shuttle's pulling in, get in the thing, go there, get to the airport, through security, to the gate. As the last ticket thing is going in, door closes, sitting. And I went,
fantastic.
I went, fuck this, man.
Amazing. So what?
Because I went,
what is that?
It was incredibly powerful because I went, I think that's reality.
Wow.
I think I got a glimpse of reality because I tuned into it. It's always there, but I dialed my dial into a thing. And once you're in, there is no other.
Right.
You're not getting out of it. Once you're in that dial and that mode, you have to consciously get out of it. Once I sat on the plane, I was back.
You choose to fuck it up. You choose to sort of like step out of it. I think so
because you doubt, you worry, you challenge, you pout.
But you get the same thing. But would you say that can happen in like when you're acting and shit, right? I mean, when you're doing a movie, you and everything coordinates like that, right?
You and I tolerate the drudgery and the tedious nature of filmmaking for the spiritual nature that you get between action and cut.
Yes, that's true.
That is nirvana, and you've had it, and I've had it. You have moments where you go,
everything worked.
Everything works. But here, I gotta argue with you guys on this because the Buddhist view, you can change
with all
your
the
mind.
Horseshit,
no,
the travel,
you can,
everything for the
wait a second. Now, Steve's a philosophy professor.
You can change your mind and you can adjust your mood. That's totally the Buddhist thing so that like you don't end up suffering while you're sitting in traffic. I totally agree with that. But I don't think you can get your mind so flow state that you're arranging the universe so that
it
traffic
wasn't real.
goes faster.
No, it was not. I didn't change anything. I saw what was.
You're
I didn't
kind
change
of like
anything. The perception changed into what it was.
I think I get what you're saying.
I'm not trying
entirely.
to move buildings or cars. Nothing changed. It was a realignment of what always was.
So you weren't influencing it. This is what was going to happen, and you just let it happen. Whereas you were fighting it before, you're saying.
I was fighting every inch of it before, and when I let it happen, I almost didn't touch the steering wheel. I mean, it was one of those.
I get it.
deals.
Okay, you guys are on your own on that one.
No, I get it.
I'm out of that one.
I mean, I think I know what you mean. And I think in some ways, because of what you just said about the acting thing, you recognize something that feels similar in some ways, I think.
Stephen, if you ever experience it, you'll never go back, and you'll realize that the senses are a limited perception of the world. And I just get little flashes of things. It's enough to tell me, holy crap, maybe this is little,
there's
little
something
peaks.
more going on.
You go, geez, Louise, man. And
I'm with that. Yeah.
So my UFO thing wasn't so much spiritual. I was not abducted in any way or confronted.
Damn it.
But the same mountain range that I was looking at, I was south facing. So we're looking south at the Siskiyou Mountains, which are beautiful at night, no lights. So, and the stars would twinkle and all that. So I'm doing a phoner like you do, Paul, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the view, and a warbly white light appears behind the mountain. And it's just a solid white light. None of this, no fancy hardware or anything. And it's warbly and it's rising. Now, I've seen every jet pattern for 20 years. I lived on top of this mountain, and I saw every jet tail from LA flights going to Seattle. Some would be angled this way. It was, some other place, but I knew the routes of these jets. I knew the elevation. I knew the width of the jet trail.
And these weren't suspicious contrails. You weren't seeing there's that whole conspiracy theory about the crazy weird.
Every type of craft fly over our property. I mean, because every so often those NORAD things, the whole watch the coast, protect the coast type flights. And those are like enormous vehicles that are way the fuck up there. With
What are these? These like AWACS? Are these like, remember the AWACS?
Yeah,
was it that kind of thing?
It's just like, what's on that beach down there, man? You looking at me? So a lot of things come over, but helicopters are their own beast. They move much slower in the sky, obviously.
You know the skies.
This is coming over the mountain range at me. So,
and this isn't a drug runner coming from California. That's
no, because it's in the air. It's in the air.
Sky.
It's above the mountain range, and it's a warbly white light.
Right.
And because it's coming at me, it's compressed, so it takes longer. It doesn't look like it's moving very much,
right,
or very fast, but it is moving. It's definitely moving. And I went, look at that warbly white light. I say to myself. Behind me in my foyer, it was an entrance to the house. I hear a buzzing. I hear, bzz, and I turn around behind me, and one light in the foyer has dimmed to half.
Oh.
And then it goes back up, and then I turn back around, and I see this warbly light, and now the warbly light is closer because it was still moving. And then as soon as I turn back, I hear, bzz, and the other light in the foyer. I turned it, and that goes down by half. And then back up to full, and I turn back around like, what the fuck? It's gone.
Really?
Oh.
So it was not moving fast enough to have been able to disappear. In this amount of time.
But how big was it?
Size of a helicopter.
And the
it
lights?
Wasn't like some huge thing. And never changed. It's the warble like you have a lighter in front, like the old spaghetti westerns. It was the heat warble that made it. But it was not moving fast enough to have been able to leave my sight of view in that
for that period of time.
And I honestly felt the following. I felt that this probe-ish type thing was out kind of bombing around in, sparsely populated areas. So maybe it was a little freer wouldn't get shot at it as much. I mean, who knows in my area. Saw a lovely incandescent light. Kind of honed in on it and I felt like it was fucking with me. And then it was like,
so you felt like it was intentional.
Oh, what's this? Oh, look at that. Oh, because look, if you have a brownout all the lights in your house are going out. If you have a blackout, all the lights go out. You don't have parts of your house that go up or down. They're all connected. All your stuff is connected.
Right. Everything's going to go down.
This was one individual light that was not on the same circuit as the one across the foyer.
Yeah.
It was one light out of the entire house. It was dusk. So the lights were on in the house.
Yeah.
What year did this happen?
When was this, Bruce?
Pre-pandemic, 18, 19.
Well, I mean, some of these things can be explained.
But by the way, the entire time you're on with Parade Magazine. That's like, that's asking you.
Well, anyway.
Hold on a second.
So, Bruce, on Burn Notice, were you?
It was really hot down in Miami. It was, but we made it work.
Did you say to this fucking guy, I just saw a UFO? I just saw you.
We may have segued into that. Like, I'm sorry if I seem distracted. I might have witnessed a UFO. Because circuits don't work that way. Talk to any electrician. Circuits.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering, like, do you think that there's a certain amount of these that can be explained, but then do you think the ones that are left over are in fact going to be alien crafts of some kind? I mean, is that your gut? Are you sort of committed?
Well, I got yahoos living in my area. A lot of these
drones,
these pot grow guys make fast money. And Sunday morning, I was in the middle of nowhere on my property, and I hear the loudest god awful engine you've heard Sunday morning about 9 a.m. I'm like, what is happening? And down at the bottom of my meadow in this draw, this floating device takes a right-hand turn. This Leonardo da Vinci device. Guy in a chair with the big fan behind him and the parasail.
Sure, right.
And he is going,
what the fuck? Totally.
Out the meadow,
sure.
Over the house, probably buzzed my house by 50 feet.
Wow.
Holy shit.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Beep, 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 beep. Yeah.
You called 911.
Technically an emergency call. But I said, can people do that? Can you do that? Can you buzz people's property?
Yeah.
And the guy goes, yeah, as long as it's not over 500 feet. The guy has to stay under 500 feet.
Under 500 feet?
Yeah, because over 500, now you're messing with helicopters.
Oh, now you're in the federal airspace.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, but
you're kidding me.
500 feet, you can be a Yahoo.
Holy shit.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that. I'm going to bear that in mind.
Okay, so I don't attribute it to a guy like that, per se. Right, who can create a crazy vehicle because he's got cash to burn. That was too sophisticated. If that was connected, that would be too sophisticated.
Yeah.
I go, okay, we got military bases, Klamath Falls, not too far away, air base.
Yeah.
But I thought, I don't know that the Air Force can do probes and shit and warbly shit and make them cloak and go away. I mean,
who knows?
That I am aware of. I just had a friend of mine transcribe my grandfather's World War I diary.
World War I diary?
Wow.
World War I, yes.
Wow.
His father, my grandfather from upstate New York, the Geneseo area, was a pacifist. And he said, we don't do war. We ain't going to war. And my grandfather, his son, said, hey, Pop, how about this? I'll join the ambulance corps and I'll be saving lives instead of taking them. How about that? He goes, all right, go ahead. So he goes over there. The shit that he sees in the ambulance corps pisses him off so much he joins the artillery without
is that right?
Without telling his dad. He's like, you motherfucker.
I'm killing guys now.
I'm gonna really pound these guys.
Yeah. He had his first howitzer shell up on his mantle.
Wow.
Yeah, never said a word.
Never talked about any of this.
But in his diary, he was walking around these little villages in France all the time at night. And they were always, he and a buddy, they always, walked together, heard these shrieks of terror coming from an apartment building. And they're like, what shit, the hell? And they were soldiers. So they went, I guess maybe we should help.
Gotta save somebody.
Help the Frenchies, No, in my grandfather's case, help the frogs. We got to help the frogs.
Sure, right.
Yep. God, he was terrible. He used every bad word in the book. So he and his buddy go into this apartment thing, and so the woman screaming, something, gesticulating, and so they go, and it's a room at the end of the hallway, and they go running toward it, and bullets start to come through the door.
Holy shit.
Shots through the door. They're like, well, yeah, that's a lot of sticking here. What's happening?
That's saving anybody.
And they may have been armed or whatever. So they, I think, disappeared. Shots ended. Okay, let's kick the door. Let's rush it. Let's kick the door. Let's do it. And they do the Cagney and Lacey thing, whatever. Wham! Door opens into a room with no doors and windows, and there's nobody there.
What?
Yeah, that's what he wrote in his thing.
And there was no one in there.
There was no one in a room that seemed like there was no...
With bullets coming out of it.
Yeah, bullets come on.
What? Super weird.
Does he theorize about what happened, or he's just like...
And no other part of his diary is
weird like this. There's nothing else ghostly or weird.
Dead guys in livery today, 42 dead guys today. But this day was like, weird shit happened today.
That's super weird. Wow, that's super spooky. Here's an interesting thing. I read you don't believe in ghosts, though, but you're willing to admit the existence of some of this other stuff.
I don't know. It's weird. Aliens. I believe it's sort of in like echoes somewhere. I don't know. When you croak, I haven't got that one figured out. I don't think people know when they croak. That's my guess. I think they kind of go, oh, I think I should have turned left here.
Right. Now it's like, now where am I?
Now where am I? And because I don't know. I mean, you hear about the light, I guess. I saw the light, got closer, the distant voices. Everyone has a near, not story. Everyone, but I mean, there are near-death stories, back from death.
Yeah.
People have been dead for 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, I hope, here's what I hope. I hope that there's an intelligent creator out there that will eventually prove to me that this was all intelligent. Because I've met plenty of people who are like, sorry guys, this is biology.
Yeah.
I mean, I have met a lot of Kiwis, the most godless people I've ever met in my entire life.
Is that right? The Kiwis?
Really? Fascinating. I mean, and not
what have they got to be so
godless heathen?
It didn't
make it down there.
There are criminals that went down there, Paul. They're just.
I guess that's true.
Well, the criminals went to Australia.
Okay.
And then the people who just didn't want any of that horse shit went to New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that. They're atheists down there.
Yeah. So to them, a lot of guys, like I was talking to a camera guy one day, and we were philosophizing for a little bit, and he goes, that's fine, Bruce. Enjoy it. Bruce. It's all biology, though, ain't it? It's all biology. That as a species, we go here, these animal species here, we progress, empires rise and fall.
Yeah.
So you think the soul might be real and it might like take on the body, or the soul is born with the body and then goes on to another life afterwards? Like what?
Yeah, reincarnation and stuff like that?
I think there's only one Stephen, Bruce, and Paul.
Okay.
And that's the intelligent creation, because there's absolutely no one like any of us. Not even, you can't even AI can't get us.
Can't quite do it.
They're always going to have an extra finger with AI.
Or when they eat a hot dog, it's going to melt into their face.
It's so wrong. So wrong.
That's random.
But I think, because even I kind of think that the material world is a guidepost, and it gives hints of what is, because even in a material sense, as you say, Paul, we can have transcendent moments even though we haven't gone anywhere.
I see.
And I have friends that I swear to God have never had a bad day, and I have other friends that are in a living hell. And they have made that bed, and they woke up in it one day and went, how the hell did I wind up in this bed?
Yeah.
It's the bed that we make. It's the mental bed that we make.
Bruce, Campbell, this has been extraordinary.
Paul, Stephen, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I
so much fun.
Exploring the unknown.
I hope we asked you some questions you haven't heard before. Did we?
No, you didn't, actually.
No. Damn it.
But I answered them differently this time.
Yes, you did.
You've entertained yourself.
Fellas. I appreciate the philosophical. I think more of our citizens should engage in things that we cannot fully understand.
I agree.
I do not feel 100% doom and gloom for our planet, because I think while we do horrible things together, we also have done amazing things together.
Yeah,
so
it's possible.
We got to kind of get past our little tribal systems and
agree.
see if we can't get something done.
Hopefully there's something good on the other side of that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Thanks, fellas. Be
Bruce
good.
Campbell, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bruce.
See ya.
What a pleasure. Thanks, man.
Chinwag is a production of Treefort Media and Touchy Feely Films. Hosted and executive produced by Paul Giamatti and Stephen Asma. Executive producers for Treefort are Kelly Garner and Lisa Ammerman. Dan Carey is executive producer for Touchy Feely. Our series producer is Rachel Whitley Bernstein. Original theme music by Luke Topp, with additional music by Via Mardot. Oscar Guido is our executive in charge of production. Tom Monahan is head of audio for Treefort. Animation created by Alex Sokol. Editing and mixing by Jeff Neal. Lastly, for more information, go to chinwagpod.fm and find us on Instagram or TikTok at chinwagpod or on Twitter at chinwag_pod.